start now. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's webinar. I'd also like to thank each and every one of you for your participation as a mentee in EHRC's Connected Women Mentorship Program. I'm Michelle Brannigan. I'm the CEO of EHRC, and I also have with me Jennifer Smith, who has been working with EHRC on this initiative and will deliver most of today's session. The objective of today's session is to provide you with an overview of the program, your responsibilities as a mentee, and to inform you of the tools we have developed to support you during the mentor-mentee relationship. We've also built in time for Q&A, and we are recording the session so that those who cannot attend can access it later on. I just want to give you a little bit of an overview of the program. As you know, the electricity industry is a wonderful place to work. However, we do need to diversify our current workforce. At present, women are still very underrepresented in the sector within the technical and trades occupations. Under 5% of women are working in the trades. Quite often in many of the electricity trades, that number drops to 1 or 2%. And we see only 25% of women overall. And our long-term objective within this program is to see a real change in these numbers. And really, we do see the potential for the number of women to be impacted by this initiative to grow substantially as it expands beyond this pilot. Ideally, our mentors and our mentees will continue on in their roles beyond the 6-month pilot for this program, and ideally we would like to see our mentees eventually become mentors themselves, passing on the benefit of their own experiences. So as you know, the goal, this is a pilot program, and the program is of 6 months duration, and our goal is to test the program and then learn from it. We will have an evaluation process built in. Jennifer will talk about that momentarily. Once the program has been completed, we will gather the data from all those who participated and make any alterations based on your feedback. So I do encourage you at all times during the process to be very forthright in your feedback to us. We won't be sensitive or have our feelings hurt in any way. We do want to ensure that when we make improvements to the program and roll it out nationally, we have the best mentorship program that we can. Just to let you know, we did go out to industry with a call for mentors, and the response has been wonderful. We have over 40 women and men registered to support you within the program. I do hope to increase that number substantially over the next year as we look to roll the program out across the country following this pilot. Just to revisit, there are 27 mentees participating in the pilot project from 2 different cohorts. We have 5 women who are already working in the sector, and we also have 22 women who are studying or who have finished studying in an electricity-related field this year. The majority, of course, were participants in Algonquin College's Women into Electrical Engineering Technology program, or WEET. And the goal, of course, of that WEET program is to prepare students for employment within various sectors, including electricity. And, you know, obviously women within the program already had that degree or advanced diploma in one of the STEM areas: science, technology, engineering, or math. Ideally, we would like to see you transition into this industry. I'm going to hand over to Jennifer now, and then I'll jump back into an occasion, and we'll talk to any questions that occur as part of the program.
Thank you, Michelle. Welcome, everybody. Appreciate you taking the time to participate today. For those who are not that familiar with webinars, I just want to call your attention to the fact that we have everybody on mute, so only you can hear us. I have at the top left-hand corner, you'll have an area where you can raise your hand, and it flags to us on this end that you have a comment to make. In the bottom, you have a chat section, so you can pose a question to the entire group, or you can pose a question to me, and we'll stop and answer it. So there is a question and answer period at the end, but we just want to make sure if you have a comment directly on what we're speaking to, that you have an opportunity to raise your question then. So I'm just on the slide now that looks at the type of mentoring program. There are a number and a different variety of mentoring programs. This one is work focused and specifically looking at the electricity sector. Michelle talked to you about some of the challenges that the sector faces in attracting women and that women face when working in the electricity sector. So this has been designed to help better support women moving into the electricity sector, particularly in the trades and the non-traditional jobs. We are saying, and it's particularly important for the mentees to understand, that there is no guarantee of employment in the sector. So participation in the program is to help provide interested women with supports they need to better understand the sector, and we hope at the end of the day to find employment in the sector. But just that, as mentees, you understand the mentor's job is not to help you find a job, but they are to support you in achieving your goals within your goals that you have for the sector. The relationship for the pilot will definitely be one-on-one. We have enough mentors and mentees to match one-on-one. There may be times in the future where a mentor might take on more than one mentee, but at this point you will have a one-on-one relationship with your mentor. The program is designed to last for 6 months, so once it's initiated, we have clear phases, 4 phases, that we expect the relationship to evolve through. The timing of how those evolve will be primarily driven by yourself and your mentor, but that there is a clear phases that we expect, and I'm going to review those for you. You will be supported by EHRC program coordinator. Their job is to make sure that you understand what's expected and how the program will roll out, and to make the initial introduction, and then to provide you with support. So, you know, if you have questions that you feel you can't ask your mentor, if you're having problems getting hold of your mentor, or it just doesn't seem to be working out, EHRC is here to support you. So you will be given contact information on how that works. Turning to the next slide, we talk about mentor. I'm sure most of you understand the definition of the mentor, but for this case, the mentor has to have, and a prerequisite to become a mentor is a well-grounded understanding of working in the sector. So they have to have had at least 4 years experience working in the sector. They may not be currently working in the sector. There might be some in another sector, or they might have been retired, but we want them to have a good understanding of what it's like to work in the sector, and obviously to exemplify the behaviors and the expertise that are important to another person, that they can pass on some of this knowledge and expertise. We expect that the mentors will be at least a level ahead or above what you would find for the mentees, particularly with a lot of them coming in out of college, or that they've just worked longer in the sector. So there will be mentors as well that are working in perhaps a trade and a non-traditional job. They've been there for a number of years and can help those who are moving into those positions to better ease into these jobs and to grow and thrive in the sector. The mentees are, obviously yourself, you know this, will be looking for the guidance and sharing of wisdom related to working in the sector itself. Requirements, we do expect to participate in the program that you will meet with your mentor 6 to 8 times over the course of the program. We expect that it will probably roll out, the meetings will be more frequent in the beginning, and then they'll taper off as you, the mentee, develop a greater confidence and ability to move forward with your goals. As you know, you're committing time as well as your mentor, and we really do encourage that to be responsive. We say a minimum, respond within a minimum of 72 hours. We really would like it to be sooner than that, but we do understand that some people are off-site or in the field, and it may be a bit more complicated. So just being responsive and respectful of the mentor's time. Recognize that the information that is exchanged is confidential, so anything your mentor tells you and anything you tell the your mentor is supposed to be kept confidential. And this is part of a confidentiality agreement that we get you both to sign. So just to be respectful of that. We've talked about it. It's not a recruitment program and it's not a job placement program, but ultimately what we hope will be employment within the sector. At the end of this program, might not be within that window, but definitely as part of your goals of moving towards employment in the near future. Participating in the program, we do need you because it is a pilot and even as part of the ongoing program to participate in an evaluation. So we're going to have a midpoint evaluation where you'll be asked questions on how is it going and just get a checkpoint with you there, and this will help inform EHRC on progress. But also after 6 months, we will be coming after, and part of participating in the program is agreeing to participate in this evaluation. It's not going to be terribly long. It will be an online survey-based, and it will be questions around, did you achieve your goals, what worked, what didn't work, what recommendations do you have for improving, making improvements. The next steps, we're going to ask you to, you're going to get a link in the near future from EHRC to the Connected Women's website, and there you're going to be asked to complete an application form. So I'm going to have Michelle just explain a little bit of that to you as working on the system right now, and it's going to be up and ready to go very soon.
So what we will do is send you out a link to an online registration system. It's fairly straightforward, and it won't take you too long to go through. The mentors will have their own application form as well, and we'll ask you for information such as past experience, level of education. Are you currently working, or are you still studying? Some information to help us make the best match possible. For example, what areas of the sector you're most interested in working in, the career path that you envision for yourself, and some areas that you would like to focus in most strongly on, such as during the mentor-mentee relationship. For example, is it on skills development? Is it on personal growth? Perhaps it's support in dealing with challenges encountered directly in the workplace, or it's help discovering new job opportunities. And again, this is where you will sign your commitment to the program. And again, understanding that this is not a job placement program. It is not one of the criteria that you will get a job as a result of participating in the mentor-mentee program, but it is a wonderful opportunity for you to develop not only your skill sets, gain an understanding of the industry, but develop your networks as well too, that will help you within your career path and your goals. So we will send that out to you via email. You will register on that link. There will also be a number of resources available to you to help you support you through that process. They will all be available on that dashboard, which will be on the EHRC website. Once all the applications are in EHRC, and a subcommittee will then match the mentor to the mentee, we will then have an introductory phone call of about 10 to 15 minutes. Our goal is to personally introduce every mentee to their mentor as much as possible. And once that piece is finalized, it will be your responsibility and that of your mentors to then officially begin the program and take it from there. At any time during the process, if you have concerns or questions, you will, of course, have access to EHRC to run any of those concerns or questions by us.
Okay. Thank you for that. I'm now just going to give a quick overview of the program and some of the supports and tools, and then we'll go into a short question and answer session. The first phase is really the first meeting. So one of the things we're going to ask the mentor to do at that introductory meeting is to be the one who sets up that first meeting with you, the mentee. This is probably the area where the mentor takes the lead. After this, we are going to encourage and expect the mentees to really drive this relationship. So once the mentor has set up the meeting, there's going to be a lot of, now the mentee will follow up and set up the meetings and establish contact through email, that sort of thing. So this will be your first meeting. It's ideally, we're saying approximately 1 hour. It's really sort of a get to know each other. We do have a tool that helps you prepare. So there's questions that we're going to give you to review prior to the session that are going to be things that you should think about, preparatory questions for the first meeting. So that'll really help get your head around some things you need to think of prior to meeting with the mentor. But the mentor has a similar one that they're going to come prepared with some questions and some answers to talk through with you. And here it's really setting up the stage of setting a rapport, understanding what each other wants, at least, like how best to communicate, things like that. The mentor will then ask the mentee, to complete a goals form. So on the website where the supports and tools are, there will be a goals form for you to complete. And it really is taking some of the information you completed in the application form and just putting it in a bit more of a goal form. What do you want to complete over the next 6 months? So you're going to be asked to complete that before the next meeting and to share it with your mentor prior to the next meeting. This will be the basis of your next conversation. So during this meeting, your mentor will review the goal form and you'll develop an action plan together on what the key actions you're going to undertake over the next 6 months to achieve the goal. And your mentor might have some actions too that he or she will undertake to help support you in that regard. So we expect that after the first meeting, this meeting will take place about 2 weeks later. It may take 1 or 2 meetings depending on how much time is put aside and how much what the goals are. So that really will be dependent. It is here, once you have the action plan in place, you're really going to start, you'll have agreement with your mentor about how often you're going to meet, when you're going to meet, and different checkpoints. So this will be an important point to establish that. And again, the follow-ups start becoming a bit more mentee-driven, with, I'm sure, the mentor providing check-ins and making sure you're on the road to achieve your goals. So Phase 3 is really working towards goals achievement, and as I said, in Phase 2, you're going to have outlined how often you're going to meet and when you're going to meet, but you'll have regularly scheduled meetings on which you'll review the plan. Are you on track? Are there points at which you need to bring the mentor in to help facilitate and help you in different areas? So this is really just the ongoing progression leading up to Phase 4. Phase 4 becomes really just the winding down. So you're past the 5-month mark, approaching 5.5, and you need to have a conversation with your mentor to discuss how far are you towards achieving your goals. Do you want to continue the relationship formally, informally? This will all depend on how well you've progressed towards the achievement of goals and what the needs are of both yourself and your mentor. So here you really are going to establish it. There's no expectations as part of this program that it would continue formally, but we are hoping it would continue informally and that you establish a relationship with this person and it becomes part of your own professional and personal networks. So once that's determined, the mentor will let EHRC know the closing off and next steps. But we are also going to ask that you complete an evaluation survey to help inform, again, how it went, what are the outcomes that were achieved, what do you think were the positives, where did you see perhaps that you could have had more support, is the program long enough, that sort of thing. So it really is going to help to inform continuous improvement of the program itself. Finally, the last slide looks at forms and supporting tools. So these are all going to be available on the website. There's the application form. You're going to go right to that from a link. You have your commitment agreement form, which we talked about. There's a guide for both mentors and mentees. They're similar but different, obviously tailored to each of the different roles that you play. The mentee goal form we talked about. There's the first meeting preparatory questions that you're going to be asked to think about before your first meeting. There's a key mentoring skills document for mentors, just to emphasize some of the skills they need to continually practice, such as active listening and reaching out and two-way dialogue, that sort of thing. And finally, there is a relationship self-assessment tool that we have developed for mentors as a reference tool for them to continually check to see if the relationship's on track. So that's it for the formal presentation. We want to put it out to see if anybody at this point has any questions that we might be able to answer. As again, you can raise your hand or you can just post it as a question. I'll give you a second on that. And I think we mentioned in the beginning, I'm not sure we did, we had one participant that joined us here at EHRC and is in the room, and she has a question, so Michelle's just going to pose that.
The question is in relation to the goal-setting form. Thank you, Jessica. And what types of goals a mentee should be setting. So we have a goal form, and this really is something that you will sit and discuss with your mentor at your second meeting. But we'll be giving it to you in advance because obviously you may need some time to look at what your goals are. What are your expectations, and what would you like to achieve as part of this program? And this will help you to, as a document, to be able to refer back during that 6-month relationship, and for you both to be able to discuss the progress that you've made. So some examples of what a goal would be a goal to perhaps you want to gain a better understanding of the sector, of the different types of job opportunities that are in there. It's a very complicated sector. It's different from province to province, and so perhaps that's one of your goals that you want to set at the very beginning of your discussions. Another job, for example, would be or could be developing ways or mechanisms to deal with the challenges that you're experiencing in your current job in the sector. That would be an example of another goal. Or perhaps you want support in preparing for any interviews that you go to during your job search. Or perhaps you're even looking to change direction in the organization that you're currently working in, and you'd like to prepare for how that interview may go, and some of the skills and competencies that the interviewer will be looking for. We've had examples in the past where we have seen people with a strong technical education, a strong technical background, go to a job interview but be very surprised by the fact that they were asked competency-based questions. And those types of questions are asking you about some of your other abilities, your non-technical abilities, so your ability to communicate with the team, leadership skills, and preparing and understanding what types of questions are there and being able to respond to those questions is really critical to ensuring that you have a strong opportunity to be hired. So perhaps that's another goal that you want to set. I wouldn't at the beginning stage recommend that you set too many goals. We have on the form given 3 goals as an ideal number. That may change as you go through the relationship with your mentor, but don't think that you have to come up with 10 or 12 goals. Think of the 3 most important things that you want to achieve within this relationship, and document them so that you can see how you progress throughout the program.
Oh, perfect. Thanks for that question. Does anybody else have any other questions, anything they want to pose, any concerns? Okay then, well then we will wrap up. The one thing I wanted to just emphasize is that this is a program for you, and what you get out of it is what you put into it. And I think everybody recognizes these mentors are giving up time. As we said, they understand the sector where you're trying to get into, and that it's important for you to take this opportunity and to tap into that expertise and this person's willingness to share. As we talked about at the beginning, in the first couple of meetings, you're going to be able to establish an understanding of how best to communicate with them and when to communicate with them. But if you have questions, if you have obstacles, make sure you reach out to them, because they're there for you, and they're committed to helping support you through this program and to helping you achieve your goals. So good luck as you go forward, and we'll be in touch. Thanks for your time. Michelle?
Thank you, everybody. And what we will do next is early next week, we'll send you out a copy of the today's session and the PowerPoint. You'll also get a link with details on how to access the registration form. We did hear from the session that we had earlier today from the mentors that some folks were concerned about the timelines and having adequate time over the holidays due to travel commitments to fully participate. So we will relook at the drop-dead date for you to complete your registrations, but we will make sure that everybody has access to that to do it in a timely fashion. And we do anticipate that we will have everybody ready to go in January. So looking forward to talking to you again in the new year. And with that, we will wish you happy holidays, and thank you very much for participating today.
Thank you for your time. Goodbye.
Thank you. Please stand by.